From Fall One Gaming, give me that countdown.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Get over here! Hi, I'm martial art master Daniel Pacino. You know me as the original Johnny Cage, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Reptile, and Smoke. You are tuning in to NerdCage Live on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Don't miss an episode or you'll get caged. So let's finish him.
This is Anthony Marquez, better known as Kung Lao for Mortal Kombat. Make sure to like and subscribe to NerdCage Live. Be there. Us.
Hi, I'm Leah Montalongo, the OG Sindel. Please like, subscribe to NerdCage Live.
NerdCage Live and gaming are a perfect match.
Shoot the J, Joe.
Okay.
Shoot it!
All right.
Over on NerdCage Live on Twitch, Jay and Joe go live.
Call me Bazooka Joe.
It's all about you.
Kaboom!
Playing both old school and new school games every Tuesday night. Ooh, what a sight!
Jay, stop looking at her face and run.
But she's so beautiful.
So be sure to follow NerdCage Live on Twitch.
Run for your life, Joe. Run for your life, Joe.
Running.
Run faster. Oh no, Joe. The galaxy's doomed because of you.
To scratch your gaming itch.
Oh, nice kick, Joe.
Thank you.
About you.
Yo, that's f***ing diabolical.
About humanity.
Wait. Yo!
That's twitch.tv/NerdCage Live.
Greetings, citizens! You're now trapped in a nerd cage with your hosts Mark and Jay. We hope you have a smashing good time.
You're now about to witness the strength of geek knowledge. Hello and welcome. That's right, you're trapped in NerdCage Live. This ain't just a reaction show, but a debate show and a live discussion on everything that makes people like you and I tick. So thank you for joining us tonight on yet another The Batman spoiler discussion. Please hit that like button and subscribe. I'm your co-host Jay St. G, certified geek, 7 days a week, coming to you live from yours truly, Syracuse, New York, and always among us. Right down over there, our moderator and trollhammer, Joe from Fall One Gaming. Please introduce our fantabulous Canadian guest.
Yes, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Big Jack from BigJackFilms.
Vengeance. Oh man, I am looking forward to talk about spoilers because I could not talk about spoilers in my opening night for the Batman.
Yep.
I have some things to say because if you have not seen my review, my opening night vlog, first of all, I was invited to a screening of this by Sassy Cosplay, I believe. They're on Instagram. Big thank you to them. They're another podcast like you guys. They're fantastic. But they invited me down along with Amethyst Cosplay on Instagram. Great Catwoman cosplayer, one of the best, probably the best Harley Quinn cosplayer I know. She's fantastic. And I got invited to that, and I love the hell out of this movie. And I even had the balls to say this was better than The Dark Knight. Fight me. I don't care. I love the hell out of this.
All right. Before we continue, Joe from Fall One Gaming, who do we have in the chat?
Alrighty, in the chat we have Sunzilla 2008. We have Shay Smithers. Paul Tackett's in the chat.
Yeah.
And Mr. Movie Lover, Cyrus the God, and more to come.
Well, thank you so much for everyone who decided to spend their Thursday night with us. I know we already talked about the Batman on Monday, but Monday was such a massive stream, and honestly, it wasn't even enough time to really get things out. And I know Jack is one of the most passionate Batman fans that I know personally, and by the way, subscribe to him, link in the description, but he just put out a opening night video, and he couldn't really talk spoilers, so now, since it's been a minute, since the movie's been out over a week now, we can talk spoilers. I really can't wait to just dig a little deeper since there's just this is a bit more of an intimate talk about the movie instead of this big barrage of people. So now we have time to really dig deep and talk about any stuff that we missed on stuff on Monday. So Jack, you just said you liked it more than The Dark Knight. How do you rank this movie among like all the DC films and like all the Batman films? Like where would you rank
I'll
it?
just say first and foremost, as a comic book guy, when it comes to DC stuff, I am very far behind on a couple of things. Because I'll be honest, I like Superman, I like Wonder Woman, I like The Flash, all that crap. But for me, I've just been a big Batman guy. I have been a Batman fan since I was a kid. My father and I used to watch the 60s show on the Space Channel every afternoon at 5:30. I loved the animated series growing up. I loved the Joel Schumacher films. Those were my first, like Batman Forever was my first theatrical Batman experience back in '95. I lived close to the theater that I once saw it at. It's no longer there.
Yeah.
But it was just one of those, it's a big part of my life, Batman. And so then the Dark Knight trilogy, which I did thoroughly enjoy. Ben Affleck was very hit or miss for me because, I mean, it was the closest to a Kevin Conroy live-action Batman, but at the same time, it wasn't the Dark Knight because because I think the original idea was that Bale was going to show up for the DC Extended Universe, but he didn't because of all this complications with Warner Brothers and Snyder. But when it comes down to it, like, basically with this one, I really had zero expectations because we've had so many Batman movies.
Yeah.
And when Robert Pattinson was announced, at this point, I felt like the studio was just trolling the fans because we've had so many actors play this part that everyone that's cast, people bitch. And this has been going on since Michael Keaton. Because Keaton was cast and everybody was like, oh no, it's gonna be the 60s show. We proved them wrong. Ben Affleck was cast. Oh no! And was pretty good. Then we have Pattinson. Oh no! At that point, Warner Brothers is just fucking with everybody. They knew that people would complain, like, we're gonna troll the hell out of them. But it was a troll move that really paid off. And Robert, to me, despite being a younger Batman, got the character. He's a fan of the character. I've heard he bought, like, apparently before he left to shoot in London, he bought, like, a whole comic book store's worth of Batman comics that he took with them. He has stated his favorite comics. He has actually, one thing I will say about this movie that I absolutely love.
Yep.
Is that it not only respects the previous films and just does its own thing with it, but from all the filmmakers, Matt Reeves, Michael Giacchino, I can never pronounce his name for the life of me, and Robert Pattinson and everybody, if there's one adaptation of Batman that they love the most, so they're very much like us, and they paid absolute respect to it, they are huge fans of the animated series.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of Batman the Animated Series in this movie. The music especially, people say, oh, it looks like Danny Elfman. No, it's Shirley Walker. I can't get that out of my head. In fact, I remember when that theme came out, I already had lyrics for that because those 3 notes or whatever, when they play it 3 times, you can hear Kevin Conroy going, I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman. You feel that in the music, the aggression of it.
Well, to be honest with you, there hasn't ever been a bad Batman theme. Like 89, Schumacher, like...
I mean, like,
they're all good. They're all memorable.
The problem with is BVS and the Batfleck theme because, yes, it's a little closer to the Gothic, but it still maintains that overdone Hans Zimmer feel to it, which I got so sick of for years. So it's good to hear that Gothic feel. And that's one thing that you like about this movie. It's not only dark, it's Gothic. It's a perfect blend of the Burton Gothic aesthetic and the real-world feel of The Dark Knight. It's a perfect sandwich of the 2 tones. And quite frankly, with this one, it is obviously, like, I think the reason I love this so much is next to Batman Returns, this is the darkest Batman movie we've ever seen, like, ever. This movie is pushing a hard PG-13, but quite frankly, I feel like Warner Brothers wanted this to be an R, but because of toy deals and merchandising deals, they had to say, okay, PG-13, hard PG-13 in theaters. When you get the Blu-ray, we'll make it R. Well,
well, technically speaking, I don't know what the rule is in your home world of Canada, but here in the U.S., they are basically 1 F-bomb away from making it rated R. Because in PG-13, if you say the F word more than once,
oh yeah, that's the rules here too. I'll say that too. That's what I love about this movie. This is, I mean, I know I don't count Snyder. I don't count the Zack Snyder films or whatever because it was late home video. This is the first theatrical Batman movie. They say the F-bomb. And I'm like, wow, okay, yeah, screw the kids. Like, look, you'll let the violence slide, you'll let the mild nudity slide, mind you. That scene where Catwoman's undressed, like, holy shit, you can see right through that shirt.
Yeah.
But you're pushing the F-bomb. Look, mild nudity is okay, fuck's okay, but no blood. No blood. So, I feel like...
Yeah, but they had a severed thumb drive.
I know, but what I mean is, like, I think once we hit I think basically all the kills, like when the Riddler murders that guy
it's
in the beginning, the first spoiler.
It's off screen.
Yeah.
I feel like there might have been some gory shots cut, and quite frankly, I think they're saving that for the Blu-ray.
That's just it. Originally, this movie was there's 2 cuts of a film. There's one that was 4 hours long and one that was 3 hours long. So
what isn't 4 hours nowadays?
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, I'm really hoping that yeah, like you said, when it comes to physical release, hopefully we'll get that full 4-hour cut.
The 4-hour R-rated cut.
You did hear what was a major scene that was cut out, right?
What was scene?
There was a Batman Joker interrogation scene that was cut out from the movie.
Well, let's see. I think with the Snyder Cut being successful, they really want to capitalize on that concept. So, but we'll get to that in a moment. So, I just enjoyed the fact that it's like, okay, out of all the superhero movies in DC, I felt Batman's the only one you could do rated R, and it's okay. We've had our kid-friendly stuff. It's time to be more adult now.
Amen.
And, you know, it's like he's the only one. They tried to do that with Superman and Man of Steel. It just didn't work.
Man of Steel was not kid-friendly. I mean, Metropolis gets fucked.
I remember my family and I came out of it. We were extremely depressed afterwards. My mom turned to me and she said, that was too 9/11. It had too much 9/11 in it. I'm like, yeah, this isn't Superman.
When buildings fall, that's what happens when buildings and debris fall.
It's one of those things where it's like, I think Cavill is a great Superman. I think the cast is great. They just have a shitty script. That's the only thing I have an issue with. Is that
I disagree.
Great cast,
Man of Steel is a goated movie. I disagree.
Yeah, it was just had a really bad tone. I think the tone the color, like that, because maybe it's because I'm a fan of Christopher Reeve and the animated series again. It's just. That's just
but do you really want cut, copy, and paste? I mean, look at this movie. They did something different.
I don't want that necessarily. I just want essentially I don't mind a new story. I just want to keep sort of the tone cornerstone of what makes Superman great. He's the DC movie for everybody.
Yeah.
So with Batman, he's the only one I can say you could do whatever you want with him, and you could go that R-rated adult stuff because it's grounded in realism. It's based on stuff. I mean, people say, "Oh, Batman never killed anybody." I just want to point out here, I have the Golden Age Batman Volume 1. I picked this up in New York City. It has the first few comics of Batman, including DC number 27. I have read it. The first freaking issue, I just want to put this out. Batman punches a guy and he falls to his death. Batman killed somebody in the first freaking comic. So you can't tell me Batman doesn't kill people. Blow me, he does. So I just really love how this movie said, screw the kids. And I really love how Warner Brothers, because apparently one of the biggest criticisms that's happening, parents groups are already complaining that this movie's too dark. And Warner Brothers, unlike Batman Returns...
Batman's a dark character, I mean...
But unlike Batman Returns, Warner Brothers ain't bending their knee. They're saying, yeah, your child should not be seeing this. Your 6-year-old child is not gonna get Batman.
Yes.
Go watch the Adam West show, now available on Blu-ray. Quit telling us to make kid-friendly stuff.
Well, that's just great because you know what? It was nice to have a movie for adults because you know what's so annoying about a Marvel movie? You go to a Marvel movie and you got Sally and her 5 kids running around in the movie theater without taking their Ritalin, and it's really goddamn annoying. They can't sit still or shut up for a 2-3 hour movie. So when you got a movie like this, there ain't no kids, and we can enjoy a movie for adults.
Riddler should just take those kids and bop them on the head with that thing. I will say that is, I mean, I do have minor little teeny weeny more nitpicks with this movie than I do like actual
so do I.
Yeah.
You know?
So go ahead, Jack. I want to hear what are your nitpicks. Go ahead. I want to know.
Well, I'll say it's more just in design of certain characters. I mean, for me, I like the Riddler in this movie. I do like what they've done with this character. It's no longer this guy in pajamas with Frank Gorsh's... Like, we're not getting that. It's very Saw. It's very, like, I mean...
Well, you played the Batman Arkham games, right?
You know what? I have the first one. New gaming has never...
The second one, the Riddler's in it, and that's the approach they took. Like, that was exactly how Riddler was in this movie. It was just like how he was in Batman Arkham City.
And the thing is, it is very Saw. In fact, I would like to see a later installment then bring in Scarface. Like, that would be a great character they could pull off in this universe.
Yes,
so
I agree.
Give that Jigsaw treatment. So, with the Riddler... If there's one thing I can kind of complain about with his design, his weapon that he uses to whack that guy in the beginning, I know it's meant to be like a smaller condensed weapon. That should have been a cane. That should have been a cane, and it should have had at least the question mark on it. I mean, I understand, though, we want to make it more real, but, like, give this guy a cane. That's what the Riddler has. He has a cane. I mean, the Penguin even at least had an umbrella in one scene. But, like, yeah, he should have had a cane, quite frankly, just to knock out his victim.
Okay, if I had anything, I think Joe and I, we talked about this when we came out of the theater. By the way, we saw the Tuesday fan premiere last week. I wish the Riddler had, like, a question mark on the mask, like, on the forehead. Like, if they put like, a question mark on the forehead there, I thought that would have been cool, a nice little touch. That's just me. I mean, it's not a deal breaker or anything like that, but it would have been nice to have the question mark, you know?
When he comes back for a sequel, no mask at all.
I would just at least keep either do sunglasses, like with green tints, or you do the mask and you have the hat. Give him the hat. You know, like I want to see...
Like in the game, you don't have him have a mask. I mean, literally, he's just wearing glasses, and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to see, again, the cane. But here's another thing. If you want to make the cane a deadly weapon outside of knocking people out, little cane sword. He pulls it out and he stabs people. Oh, man, that'd be great. So that was one. So it's just more just certain design things I'm kind of like with outfits. I'm like, you could have done better. I'll be honest, I love it, but I have a few issues with the bat suit. I like the bat suit. I think it's perfectly fine. I think it looks fantastic. There's one bit I really did not care for.
Yeah, what's that?
The scene where he gets away from the cops in the squirrel suit, I'm gonna be honest, I did not like the squirrel suit.
I see where you're coming from.
Here's why I have issues with it. I get it's more realistic. But have you noticed that of all the things on his costume, the one piece of costume that doesn't do anything practical with the Batman is the cape? Like, in the previous movies, when Batman used his cape, it had purpose. It was to glide. It was to fly, to allow him to travel a little lighter and not fall to his death. So having the squirrel suit...
And it's protective, too.
Yeah, and it's flammable. Like, even in Batman Forever, when, like, Two-Face is like, you know, nothing like a bad case of gas! And he, like, shoots the flame. Batman, it's flame, and he turns on a thing, and it, like, protects him from the flames. Like, I remember the Rift Tracks version. He puts on the belt, and it's like, on-star emergency, help! It had purpose. And I get in this movie, maybe it was waterproof or like flame-proof or whatever. But it just really took a lot away from the cape. And look, people are like, well, Batman didn't have a cape in Batman Beyond. That's because that was Batman Beyond. This is the early Batman.
Yeah.
He has to, like, the cape is what makes half the freaking costume look cool.
Yeah, I understand that this is an early rendition. So this is more of, he hasn't gone to R&D and used his company for anything. So
he hasn't gone to Lucius Fox. I mean, and that's another thing I want to bring up. As much as I think it looks cool on screen, but it does take away a lot of the realistic factor. I didn't like the contact lens thing. I felt like, look, if you're starting this guy off, he shouldn't have that kind of technology. I get maybe a camera on maybe the lens or something of like his eye hole or something.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. It's okay. I have an issue that this is something I didn't get to talk about on Monday, because Monday I was kind of hanging back because there's so many people, so I was kind of hanging back controlling the camera. When you mentioned the contact lens, the issue I had is not the contact lens itself. I think that was a cool little technology thing. Yes, it doesn't exist, but it was cool. My issue is, and I didn't think of it till after letting the movie marinate. How on earth did Catwoman get rid of the contact lens, and then later into the movie she contacts Batman again? Like what does she do to the contact lens for it to not work, or like?
She probably just had them in her pocket or something.
But still, why wouldn't she be able to turn it off, turn it back on, and so on and so forth? They didn't.
I mean, not just that. Honestly, first of all, they're contact lens. How do they have cameras? How do they have audio? How do they have battery life? They're lenses.
Yeah.
You know what kind of technology? Like, look, this isn't like Blade Runner 2049. You know, like this is literally a grounded, realistic movie. And
that was basically the only non-realistic gadget.
Don't get me wrong, there is nanotech out there. It's just, not released to public, obviously.
Yeah.
It's just that kind of stuff I felt was a little off. I mean, another thing that I kind of think was a missed opportunity, if you're going to do that contact lens thing, why not make it look like the comics in the animated series where Batman's pupils are white and they're glowing white? You could adapt that from the comics. Like, you look at the cover here, he's got his
We kind of did get that in the Dark Knight where he had the sonar on the map. That's
but that was only like for a brief moment, I don't want to see that for a whole movie. And I think that the only way that could have actually worked is if, say, I kind of picture it sort of like the Amazing Spider-Man 1, where Spider-Man used sunglasses shades for the eyes of his original suit. Not that, but basically maybe
they didn't show any of them, like, where did they get this, like, who made this stuff? Was it Alfred? Was it Bruce? There was no Lucius Fox. Yeah. Like, all the stuff were just there. Like, at least in the Dark Knight movies, Lucius Fox, made the stuff, and then in the Snyder version, Alfred was building everything. In the Snyder version, what would
have been more realistic is if they took the Amazing Spider-Man route, but they put Google glasses in the cowl, like in the eyes of the cowl are Google glasses. That would at least be a bit more practical and more realistic. But clearly that was not the case. But again, it didn't take away from it because it was cool to see Batman record everything like, a cop would when he's like on patrol. Yeah. He records everything. Like, that just makes sense now. But to have the technology on that, I was like, that's a little off. So there's some practicalities I did not care for, but I will say one thing. God damn it, does it feel good to have a Batmobile that's an actual fucking car?
Yes.
We had 20 years with a Batmobile, a giant tank piece of shit. I hated it. I hated the tumbler. That thing looked like something that didn't look like something Batman would drive. That looked something like something the Ninja Turtles would drive.
Yeah, I hated the tumbler too.
Forget the turtle van. That's the turtle mobile. You know, I just hated that. I hated that. The BBS car was a good step forward. Although
it was kind of like a hybrid, car-tank hybrid, which was...
But it looked more like a Hot Wheels car. It didn't look like a car. So this one, I was like, okay, it's cool. I even love that in the Batcave, you see over time before it shows up, Bruce is slowly building the car. You see it on a platform. Yeah. He's modding it. It's like you see this, and then he finally brings that thing out. When we were in the theater, holy crap, I was screaming. I turned to Amistess and I said, now that's a fucking Batmobile.
Yeah.
That's a Batmobile.
It's my second favorite Batmobile. I still like 89 the most.
Oh, 89's the best.
Yeah.
What I love about this too is that it's not only a really cool kick-ass car, but did anybody kind of feel like it had vibes to the 60s Batmobile? Like a little bit of that vibe to it because of like the more flatter triangular shape to it. Like I felt a lot of the 60s car in that, but it was like a modern 60s car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I'm thinking maybe in the next one, if he updates the Batmobile, I want two things. I want the bat fins in the back of the car. I want those to make it more like a Batmobile. And you know what? Put that giant bat face on the front of it like they do in the comics. Like we've never seen that in any of the Batman movies where the face of the bat is on the front of the car. And I want, it's like that kind of stuff I want. Like there's just some things you could tell it's an early prototype, but when you get to the next one, it better be then I'll be like, now it's the Batmobile.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, they better update like all the tech.
Yeah, that thing was cool. Like,
oh yeah.
That was because like the last few movies with Batman, I just felt the chase scenes with the cars have just always been bulky, and I never could it threw me off the movie that it wasn't the car. But I looked at this one, I was having a blast because I'm like, this is the best Batmobile chase probably since even something like Batman and Robin. Say what you will about Batman and Robin, but the Batmobile chase and that was like when they're on the freaking statue going down the arm, that shit was actually cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back to the cape.
Yeah.
At least make it strong enough to handle point-blank explosions.
Yes, so that's my problem with the movie, Jack. We talked a little bit about it privately, but we'll talk about it now. The thing that took me away from the movie, and we talked about this on Monday, is I see the funeral scene where the guy's got a bomb strapped to his neck, and Riddler's calling on the phone. So there's two main issues with that scene alone. One, Riddler's calls the cell phone. Bruce leaves and comes back as Batman. So that whole time, the Riddler was calling the whole time. And
well, people have done that. People do that. It's really
I know,
disturbing.
but we don't know how much time passed by. And so that I thought that was a little dumb. And two, the bomb goes off in point-blank range. Batman should have been dead. That was dumb. He was unscathed. Like, at least, like, in Batman 89, where the Joker shoots down the Batwing and he crashes, Batman comes out of the Batwing all covered in ash, and his face is all smoked up and damaged and all that.
Like,
he was like untouched, and they just shine a flashlight in your face. Batman, are you okay? I'm just fine. A bomb just went off in my face, but I'm fine.
That is one thing in the movies that I never understood, because you have this guy in protective armor and even the helmet's protected. Why does nobody try to shoot him in the fucking mouth?
Yeah.
You know, like try to shoot him in the mouth. Like think about it. Like I get in the comics because they state that the whole, like you look at my suit here with the emblem. The emblem is meant to be a primary target, a way for the criminals to just shoot at that because it's like aim for his heart. But it's bulletproof. It's ricochet. Now. I think, one, this would have been a good opportunity to do that because, one, you could have it where, okay, that would protect Batman's face. But also, you know, with the pandemic going around and you had to shut down production, you think somebody would have said, I think it'd be cool if Batman had a bulletproof, fireproof mask on his face to hide more of his identity. And also, how much more terrifying would that be for him to have this protective thing to make him more like a ninja? And you'd be like, now that's terrifying. That's not a man. That's a monster. And It's another example of like the next movie should probably do that. He has like a face covering, and then when he needs to interrogate people, it can like come off. Like you go like in the mask, you go and then like open it up, and then you can have the actor.
Yeah.
You know, I just think there's a lot of stuff you could do that's new, but also practical, and would just make sense. So that's really the only issues I've had with the film is just those practical elements. But other than that, again, Riddler's great. Catwoman, oh my god, she's hot as fuck. Like, I mean, not Michelle Pfeiffer, but better than like The Dark Knight, better than Anne Hathaway.
Yeah, I didn't care for. I mean, Anne Hathaway's great, but I didn't think her Catwoman was.
I mean, she's on the back. When you see her on the back of that and her butt sticking out, I'm like, that's pretty cool. It's pretty nice. I'm just gonna go there.
That's fine.
But like Zoe Kravitz was really good in this. I mean, a lot of people are bitching at the shit going on with her right now, but it's like, look, can we just enjoy the movie?
Yeah.
You know?
No, I thought Zoe was great because if you look at the new 52, that's exactly what Selena Kyle Catwoman looks like with the short hair and everything. Like, she looks like the modern Catwoman. I thought she was great.
She has the wit. I was like, thank you. She has the wit. The whip was absent with Anne Hathaway. She didn't have the whip. I'm like, thank you. Bring the whip back.
Yeah, the only thing they need to add to the next one is, you know, the actual cat cowl.
Yeah, I think because, again, it's early on, so she has that.
Yeah, she hasn't really become Catwoman per se yet.
Yeah, that's why I say, like, the sequel.
Yeah.
I mean, we bring up also, I want to bring this too, because I love the idea with the cops and how Gotham is corrupt and how gritty and fucked up it is. And the stuff with the Mafia, here's the thing I'll say too with the movie. People say, oh, this is one of the best comic book movies ever made. I mean, that's pretty much a given, but I'll say this. To me, this is the Godfather of comic book movies. Like, Francis Ford Coppola's the Godfather, because the Mafia and stuff in this, like the color, the tone, it reminded me of like a Coppola film. Like people say, oh, it looks like a Stanley Kubrick movie. No, reminds me of a Francis Ford Coppola flick. Like this is right out of The Godfather. Like there's even some shots, like when Batman's like all muddied up at the end, like that's right out of like Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
Like holy shit, did Coppola direct
It
this?
was definitely the best shot Batman movie I've ever seen. Like that's one thing I'll give it. Cinematography, the overall look of the film, the color filter, like everything about the way this movie looked, the way it was shot, easily the best one. Again, I'm not saying it's the best Batman movie, but it's the best shot Batman movie.
Yeah, the shots, the color, the tone, and the fact that it's 3 hours is why I would say this, and the Mafia stuff too, which I was surprised John Turturro was in this. This is the Godfather of comic book movies. In fact, if that's the case, I expect the sequel to be the Godfather 2 of comic book movies. Like, but this is a good opportunity. Don't fuck it up with the third one and do the Godfather 3. It's like, oof, no, don't go there. So yeah, John Turturro was a surprise. And actually, one thing I will say, I have the comic here. Hang on a sec.
Yep, we're hanging on.
There's a comic that was, out of all my favorite origins of the Batman, this is my personal favorite. Because one thing I do like in this movie, and they set it up, because we've seen other adaptations where the Joker killed Batman's parents, or Joe Chill was just a thug who ran away. He wasn't really tied into like anything serious except for maybe some mob shit. But what I love about this is that the fact that Falcone and the Mafia had Bruce and Martha killed. They hired so Joe Chill was a hitman who was assigned to kill them. That is right out of one of my favorite comics that I remember. This was, I think, the first comic I read as a kid that introduced me to the origin. The Untold Legend of the Batman. This was a 3-part miniseries. I remember it had like a book on tape with it as well. And it chronicles the early days of Batman but they changed it up a bit. So like, for example, Thomas Wayne was technically the first Batman because he wore a costume similar to a costume contest, and he came across a mafia boss named Louis Moxon. And the whole thing about, remember how like John Turturro said, your father saved my life, took a bullet out of me, right? Because he's a doctor?
Yeah.
That's adapted from this because Moxon got like shot and they forced Thomas to get the bullet out of him. So Thomas turns them in, Moxon swears to Bruce, I'm gonna fucking get you. And then the night they're murdered is because Joe Chill was a hit guy. So that was another reason why I love this movie. It adapted my favorite origin of the comics. So that was brought in, although in this comic they explained that Bruce, when he was a kid and he was a student to a detective named Harvey Harris, that he was the first one to also don the Robin costume, which I thought was kind of cute. So I like that this one adapted that as well. I'm like, thank you, because that was my favorite comic of the origins of Batman. So all of that is in there. It's just the mob stuff, who's the guy? I can't remember what his name. Who's the guy in the animated series? The cop that doesn't like Batman.
Oh, Harvey Bullock.
Bullock, right? Mm-hmm. I thought we were gonna get Bullock in this movie.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping we'd see Harvey Bullock, and I was kind of hoping we would see Harvey Dent. But obviously,
I think we need a break. I'll get to that in a sec. But like with Bullock, I thought the guy with the beard, like that really older cop, I thought that was Bullock. But
the one that dropped the F-bomb.
Yeah, I was thinking that was Bullock. I'm like, oh shit, is that Bullock from no, it wasn't him. So maybe the next one. You know what? I'll even say this. How cool would it be to have a reimagining of Chief O'Hara? Like, I like Chief O'Hara is one of my favorite cops in Gotham, and yet we only see him in the 60s show.
They gave us Aunt Harriet.
Oh, that's another thing. God, is that Aunt Harriet? Oh my goodness.
I don't know. I'm assuming they didn't call her out by name, I don't think.
They didn't call her Harriet, but fuck it, it's Aunt Harriet.
Yeah.
You know, so that stuff's great. And so when it comes, I want to bring this up with villains. We talked about the Riddler, but man, it just felt. This is what I also love about this movie. We got villains that we had not seen for decades on the big screen. It was always Joker. It was always Two-Face. It was always Catwoman. It was always Bane. I'm like, now we can focus. I like that Matt Reeves is like, okay, let's not focus on them. Let's focus on villains we either haven't seen in a while with this one, and then the next one, let's do villains that we either fucked up at first or we haven't seen before. So Colin Firth as the Penguin was a huge surprise. I didn't know how they were going to pull this off. I thought he was going to be my least favorite villain, but I
he was the best part of the movie, in my opinion.
I mean, at first I was looking at the makeup like, that doesn't look like the Penguin, but then when you see like sort of the lining and his face kind of goes forward like a beak, I'm like, okay, now I see the Penguin. And not only with the umbrella and shit, but the one little joke, I brought this up in my review that I love, is when they have him tied up after the chain.
He waddled like a penguin.
He's waddling like a penguin. Like, if there's one thing I wish he would have done, at least he should have just done this, because as they see in the 60s movie, my young pudget friend, on land you may command, at sea it is me, ha, ha. Like, could you have done at least one, ha? Yeah. You know? Even if you went all wild, even if you went all like fucking Waluigi, just something.
Although I still think my favorite line from him, and that was, "What's this, good cop, bad shit cop?" I thought that was great.
Yeah, he should have at least just been like,
I cannot wait. So it's official. Yesterday they greenlit the Penguin prequel series on HBO Max.
I will probably watch it, and it's gonna be rated R.
Rated R. Yep.
Definitely, yeah.
We all should be excited for it. I'm absolutely thrilled because like I said, he was the best part of the movie, but he was not in it much. But he was in it just enough to make you want more. And the fact that he's getting his own spin-off makes me fucking happy. They did drop the Gotham PD show, and they replaced it with the Arkham Asylum.
I think because we already had a Gotham show that focused on the PD a bit more from a couple of years ago, so they don't want to just do that again. Again, I like the fact that I think honestly Matt Reeves is taking full control of this entire brand of Batman. That he's pretty much telling the studio, no, we're not doing that again. No, we're not doing this again. Let's focus on new stuff. Let's focus on stuff we haven't seen in a while. Hence why, well, first of all, I'll say too with the Riddler, and a lot of stuff in this stuff there's a lot of disturbing moments in this movie. There are some moments where like some of the calls and some of the voice messages felt extremely uncomfortable. When you hear the audio of Catwoman's girlfriend getting murdered, that was disturbing. Like even for a Batman movie, I'm like, I was kind of like, oh my god.
Again, this ain't no kids movie, all right?
Yeah, this isn't Batman and Robin Robin, where Batman's like, I'm gonna go get drive-through. You're welcome, McDonald's. Or, we're a freaking Robin going, it's the hockey team from hell. Like, I love Chris O'Donnell, but, I love those movies, but, look, this isn't a kid's movie, and this is what I love. Save your kid shit for Superman or that freaking Crypto the Superdog movie coming out, which, to be fair, looks kind of fun. It's Keanu Reeves as Batman. I can't complain.
Yeah, I definitely want to see the DC Super Pets. Just, something different.
Yeah, I like it because, I used to kind of watch Crypto the Superdog, the cartoon. And I do like Bat-Hound.
Yeah.
Bat-Hound's one of my favorites in the comics.
And when we're done with this discussion, I definitely want to touch base about all the DC movies being postponed and shuffled around. We'll get to that when we finish.
So when it comes to villains, there is a lot of stuff in this movie that I liked. I will say, I even like the fact that the twins at the Penguins nightclub. Because there was one comic I read from the 50s or 60s that had Tweedledum and Tweedledee as villains.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I like the fact they're kind of in this, so it makes me think maybe in the next one, if they come back, instead of working for the Penguin, maybe they go work for the Mad Hatter. How cool would it be to see the Mad Hatter in these movies?
Yeah, he hasn't been in any.
He hasn't been in any of them. And it's kind of hard to top Roddy McDowell as the Mad Hatter in the original cartoon, but it's like, I like the fact they were in there. I was like, oh, cool, those guys. So, I'll say this. For future installments, let's talk about the other villain that's in this. I am very conflicted about the Joker.
Okay,
And
I'll say
why.
this. I thought it was unnecessary. This did not make the movie better or worse. I didn't need the Joker to be there. I wasn't surprised.
That felt like Warner Brothers saying you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to be fair, James Wolfe brought this up. This is the first Batman movie since 1966 to have the Riddler, Catwoman, the Penguin, and the Joker all in one movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cute. But anyway, when I was seeing it in the theater, at first I was like, oh my god, no way. Kirsten's a huge Joker fan. So she was just like, oh my god, Mr. J! Oh my god! She was freaking out. But it's funny because I was a little excited too. But the back of my conscience, my Jiminy Cricket was saying, again? Really?
Yeah.
I know it is. It's sort of the polar opposite problem I had with one of my biggest flaws with Joker. We had to see Batman's parents killed. I'm like, again? Really? Can we not do this? So, here, at first I'm like, I don't want to see this again. But at the same time, there is a way you could do this. First of all, don't put him in part 2. Save him for part 3.
Or just keep him at Arkham.
Keep him at Arkham as or maybe that's the thing. Keep him at Arkham. Keep him manipulative. Keep him he's manipulating all the villains for an eventual master.
I was just say build him up for part 3, or like a kind of like a Thanos, like an Endgame thing. Build him up.
Sort of like an Arkham Asylum or something, like Arkham City.
Yeah.
Just build it up where he's in prison and he's manipulating all the villains to start a prison riot, and then he gets out. So that's what I want to see. I don't want him in the second one because, from what I heard, the top candidate for part 2 is Mr. Freeze, and they want Bryan Cranston. And I'm like,
also, they're also talking about this is going to be a Riddler trilogy, that the Riddler's going to be in all the movies.
Well, he can be, but he's had his movie. Let's focus on other villains. So Mr. Freeze, I think, would be great, especially with Walter White, Heisenberg's characters. Mr. Freeze, that sounds amazing. So I want that. I'm all for that. I want the Mad Hatter. Fuck, I want the Man-Bat.
Yeah, but Mr. Freeze, Man-Bat, Clayface, that kills the whole realistic purpose.
They're also in talks with Anya Taylor-Joy to possibly play Harley Quinn.
See, again, we've got right now Margot Robbie, we're good. We don't Poison Ivy. Why not Poison Ivy? Just something a little different, not the same rehash films. I don't
Somebody in here said, Shay, I think it was Shay that said Hugo Strange.
Yeah, Hugo Strange. It's funny because when Andy Serkis was cast as Alfred, which, by the way, he was fantastic in this, I thought he was going to be the Man-Bat because, king of motion capture, he's done this before, he's worked with Matt Reeves. In fact, all Man-Bat is just Batman's beastly opposite with the personality of Gollum. So what a perfect casting choice. But then when I heard he was Alfred, I'm like, that's a weird choice because at first I was hearing
he was fine as Alfred. I just felt like he really wasn't like in the movie enough. Like it felt like that relationship there was a little.
Like I heard for a while the top candidate for Alfred was actually going to be Pierce Bronson.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, he would have been great.
But he's already playing Dr. Fate, so.
True, yeah. So, yeah, it's one of those things where, so yeah, like I want the Man-Bat, I want the Mad Hatter, I want villains we haven't done. I mean, they don't always have to be supernatural, but you can do. There's other villains in the Batman mythos that aren't supernatural. Hugo Strange.
Yep.
You know, there are, again, Mad Hatter, you could do something with that. In fact, you know what, I'll say this, I'm very conflicted about this, because I don't want Harvey Two-Face again. We've had 2 movies now with him, and I'll even say this about The Dark Knight, I felt one of the biggest issues with it, because I did see a Nostalgia Critics review of it, one of my biggest issues with Harvey Two-Face in that movie was it didn't get the character. I felt it was a total, the second time they didn't get the character. It's the Joker again, and my biggest issue is because they didn't focus on the Two-Face's major problem, multiple personality disorder. And I get why they didn't want to piss people off, but at the same time, if you're going to do this character, you have to do this character right, and The Dark Knight didn't do that. If Matt Reeves said we're going to do Two-Face and we're going to do it right, we're going to do multiple personality disorder, I'd be like, okay, fine, I'll let you do it. But don't shoehorn it into the movie. Like, if you're gonna have Two-Face, save him for part 3. Don't, like, have Harvey in the movie, have him burnt at the end, and then Two-Face shows up in the third one.
Yeah, I want to see Scarecrow again, but I want to see them cast John Noble for Scarecrow. That would be awesome.
That would be good. It's funny because when Batman Triumphant was in the works, one of the top 3 candidates for the Scarecrow was either Jeff Goldblum, Nicolas Cage, which is funny because he was doing Superman, and Howard Stern.
Wow.
I don't know how Howard Stern. I've never seen any of Howard Stern's movies. I only watch his radio. But man, I don't know how he could do frickin'.
And they wanted Courtney Love as Harley Quinn, and Harley Quinn was supposed to be Joker's daughter.
No, it was her. Madonna, I heard, was top candidate too. It was Madonna as Harley Quinn.
Yeah, from what research I've done, it was Courtney Love that they wanted. So
you can't cast older women for.
So that's the thing. So with Poison,
massive time jump.
There's a recent actress who's been kind of popping up of who could play Poison Ivy, and the one I actually kind of agree with, because I think she's really matured since the early days. I think Megan Fox could do a good Poison Ivy.
No,
because listen, hear me out.
She cannot act, dude.
I think she actually does have potential. She's just poorly directed by terrible fucking assholes in the industry. You know, Did I get muted?
No, I was just saying. I
don't know. That's something like that. Just somebody get other villains. I'm just so done with Bane. I'm done with Joker. I'm done with Two-Face. Get villains we haven't seen. And it brings me to another thing. If you're gonna have a bunch more, I'm gonna be the ballsy man here and say, you know who needs to show up in the next one? I want Robin. And not only do I want Robin, I want Jason Todd. And here's why, because my favorite dark Batman comic outside of that painted Arkham Asylum creepy-ass comic, The Killing Joke, like there are some good dark Batman comics.
Yeah.
Death in the Family has been the one I've wanted them to always adapt. And I'm not talking about the Faceless Joker one, I'm talking about the one from the 80s. Because not only do I want to see that adapted, but with Batman v Superman, they did kind of hint that was a thing that was going to happen. And if there was one thing I'm bummed out about the Batfleck movie never coming to pass, is that we never got that Death in the Family.
Yeah, but at least you watched the Snyder Cut, right?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
At least they gave an explanation. They had that one scene between Joker and Batman.
Yeah, explain it, but I want it told visually.
I know,
sorry,
but at least we got something, I
want to see this child get beaten the shit out of him and left for dead in the vein of something like Negan in The Walking Dead when he's like bashing over Glenn's head.
Yeah,
You know,
like
I
my
want
only thing
that.
is if they bring in Robin, the only way it works if there's like a 10-year time jump.
Well, that's the thing. Apparently, Matt Reeves did say the next one should come out in about 5 years. We've already got a time jump. You know, and it, you know, you could age up the actors a little bit, but yeah, I think Jason needs to finally get his turn. We've had Dick Grayson on the screen, but like, and that's another reason. Robin, we have not seen Robin in 25 years. It's time. That's like if we went years.
Titans.
Well, it's like if they made constant Sherlock Holmes movies and not include Watson.
Well, Titans did a good job depicting, you know, all
Well,
the
that's the thing.
Robins.
That's a TV show. That's not a theatrical motion picture.
Yeah, but I'm just
Because
saying, you make it
I
sound
mean-
like it's never been done. It's been done.
Well, it's never been. It's just been too long, is what I'm saying. It's like if they made a bunch of Sherlock Holmes movies without Watson. Watching Batman Forever again recently, I actually watched it. Last time I watched it was on Laserdisc, of all things, right? I have the Laserdisc. I always felt when Robin shows up at the end in the costume, and him and Batman go off to take on the Riddler and stuff, that's a great moment. That's a great heroic moment to see these two work together and fight bad guys. Like, that's one of the parts of Batman and Robin even I felt worked. To see these two interact for, like, long periods of time. And, you know, that sort of conflict and everything. Like, that shit's great. And I'm just waiting to see that again. Because, yeah, that felt like a Marvel moment. But it was like a cool, like, sort of like No Way Home, where you see, like, all these characters show up. It's like, I kind of want that with Batman, where Robin shows up and they're kicking ass together. It's the dynamic duo. And you can still do it dark and everything and still make it work. Like, I mean, even, oh, what was it? There was some, when I remember seeing Dark Knight Rises, and John Blake and Batman meet and, you know, count to 5 to throw. And it's like, if you're going to protect people, wear a mask. I was thinking, is this guy about to put on the fucking Nightwing suit and help Batman in the final battle? If they had done that, I would have lost my collective shit. If they, like, I mean, I'm not asking for Robin, but I am asking for maybe Nightwing. You know, just because it is an older guy being Batman's second man. So, again, I want to see this with the next one. I want to see them bring in Robin. I want Jason. And I want them to eventually, that's why I think Joker should be saved for the third one, so you can adapt Death in the Family. And that would be a great dark closure to this trilogy, basically. So, I mean, I'll say this even, like, just the last thing I'll say. I know I could go on this forever.
Yeah, listen, Jack. We handed you the keys tonight. We just wanted you to go.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I'll say this. Because everybody involved, Robert, Matt, Michael, they all love the animated series. I remember hearing an interview that I love the fact that Robert is basically one of us. He's a total dork. Mm-hmm. He's a total nerd. And when he read all the comics filming this movie, he had much more respect for the character. Mm-hmm. He stated that he watched every Batman movie prior, and he said his favorite one was Mask of the Phantasm. First of all, good fucking choice, man. Good choice. That is one of my favorites. How cool would it be? I'm not asking for a live-action remake, but how cool would it be to see a live-action rendition of the Phantasm? To see Andrea Beaumont. To see that happen. I don't think we're going to get it in this trilogy, but at some point it'd be cool to see that adapted. To see the Phantasm show up. Like, again, new villains, new stuff, not the same shit. So, I do trust Matt Reeves. I trust everybody involved with the next installment. I'm looking forward to it. I don't want to set my expectations too high, but I do have faith they know what they're doing. The fact that Matt Reeves is actually working with Bruce Timm and them on the new version of the animated series, like the prequel, whatever they're doing with that, I have faith in that. Matt's a fan of Batman. This is what I love about this movie. He got the character. He got it right. He nailed it. This is the first time I watch him like, this is Batman. Like, right out of the comic books. What was that? I think we lost you there, Jay.
You're muted, Jay.
I think he's muted. Oh, Leonardo Batman!
The only problem I have with, implementing Robin isn't Robin supposed to be younger than Batman? And if that's the case, how do you get somebody that looks younger than Pattinson.
You get a new actor on the scene. You get a new hot kid on the scene. And fuck, hell, that would bring in the girls. That would bring in the girls to say, like, you know, like, I mean, I remember back when Batman v Superman was made, the whole Justin Bieber as Robin. Like, yeah, that was really dumb. That was really stupid decision. But you know what? In hindsight, I've seen some of his acting. He has really matured the last few years. I don't like his music, but I think he's a decent actor. I think he actually would have been a good Robin. You know, and plus, that would bring in another demographic of audience.
Jack, can you hear me now?
You're back, Jay.
Yeah,
You're
we
back.
hear you.
Okay, so I was just saying that I love his Batman. I hated his Bruce Wayne.
I like it's a new, kind of a new rendition. Where he's not, like, I mean, I guarantee that's probably one of the reasons why, like, my sister did not like this movie. Because she said, because she's a huge Robert Pattinson fan, I think the fact that they didn't play to the Twihard girls, where he isn't this billionaire playboy philanthropist, you know? Like, I mean, that's one of my favorite lines in Batman Mask of the Phantasm was like, oh, I'm Bruce Wayne. I know, the boy billionaire. You know, like, he's not this handsome rich guy buying shit and stuff. Like, they didn't... I think that's what a lot of the fangirls were wanting, to see sort of this handsome guy be a stud in Gotham. But I like the fact it kind of goes back to what Michael Keaton was. He wasn't social. You know, he wasn't a social guy. He's been spending day and night fighting crime. He never leaves his mansion. He feels so goddamn tired. You know? Like, it drains a person.
Yeah. My problem with, I just didn't like the unhinged emo Bruce. I thought, you know, I just didn't like that. It was very unmasculine, very...
it was very... I felt like a lot of people were getting Spider-Man 3 flashbacks.
Not just that, but, like, your parents died 20 years ago. Stop acting like it happened yesterday. And 2, Pattinson had trouble hiding his British accent when he was Bruce. When it was Batman, I liked it because he was... You know, he did like a Clint Eastwood voice, which was awesome.
Oh, that's the best part. I love
he
that.
He looked and sounded great as Batman, but as Bruce, like, I just thought he was really pathetic as Bruce. And I'm going to say it again, he's too skinny. So,
like, I heard stories that back in the 90s, there was rumors they wanted to adapt The Dark Knight Returns, and they wanted Clint Eastwood as Bruce Wayne. Back in the 90s. I'm like, that actually would have been pretty fucking cool. But I agree with you. I like the fact that he is going for that Clint Eastwood sort of like, I don't like people laughing. It's crazy, you know, I just love that shit. Oh, that is one thing I also did like too. They took elements from something that you never see this with any Batman movie. That you see Batman look at a child who suffered the same fate as him. And you see that he sees a mirror of that little boy from 20 years ago, like when he sees that kid. And it's something that the movies didn't really do. The Dark Knight kind of did that, but it was not really...
Honest to God, like, when I first saw that scene, I thought they were teasing, like, this was going to be his Robin.
No, I wasn't going to think that. I was just seeing more that he was seeing a mirror image of himself.
Yeah.
And it was kind of maybe in his head causing some PTSD for him. But I like the concept that, like, I mean, Batman Begins with the Dark Knight kind of did that with, like, Gordon's son, kind of liking Batman. But again, it was too lighthearted for me, honestly. Looking back on the Dark Knight is a very lighter movie than this.
I actually still like the Dark Knight better.
And with the Batman in this movie looking at that child, you know what it reminded me a lot of is some of the Bat in the Sun fan films. This has a very Bat in the Sun looking production to me. With this, I don't know if you've ever seen any of their Batman fan films.
Yeah.
Like Dying Isn't Easy, or for me, the one it took the most from is City of Scars. Because in City of Scars, at the end, there's this child the Joker kidnaps, and the child kills the Joker. He shoots him with a gun, and Batman realizes, this is just me if I had grabbed the gun and pulled the trigger on the man who killed my parents. Like, it's very dark and gritty and everything. So I like the fact that in this movie they focused on that this is what Batman's fighting for, to make sure this doesn't happen again, and it keeps happening. You know, and maybe that's why he's a little bit emo in this. He realizes that it's like, I'm trying to prevent this, but it keeps fucking happening, and it's making me feel like shit. Alfred, come on. Like, I like
it just his Bruce didn't work for me personally. So that's just
I mean, maybe it's the hair. maybe it is the hair, but I know this is the thing too. I don't know what you guys' take on goth culture is. I don't think it's that bad. Like, it was around when I was in high school. I missed out. I'm kind of getting into it a little bit myself, to be honest. Not the emo, but just the goth shit. And I don't know, every time I see a character, I see this, every time there's an emo character in something, people complain about that. Like, why? What is the issue there? Like, I'm just seeing from your perspective, what is the issue with goth culture in movies? That it's just like, oh... Because like,
I don't think it was the look. I think it was more of, the personality of poor me. You know, he's always... His
projection. It just didn't work.
As Bruce Wayne, like, you expect him, I'm a billionaire. I can get myself out of this. I know.
Like, that's what I like, is that he's rich, but he knows that money can't get him happiness. Mm-hmm. Like, his aggression. I like that, and that's what I think about this movie. I love. We see him as this violent brute who's just wanting every night revenge for my parents who killed them. I'm taking the city to avenge my parents. But by the end of it, that scene where he's helping the people out of the flood.
Yes.
That scene where he lifts that poor child into the helicopter and the child's not letting him go, and he looks up, because I always thought in the trailer when he looks up, that overhead shot, which I really love that shot.
Yeah.
I thought it was like dawn and the cops narrow in on him. He's cornered. I thought that's what we were getting, and he was going to get away. But no, it's the fact that by the end of it, he's not the dark, brooding vigilante. He's the hero.
Exactly, yes. No, I liked it too. It was a nice character arc at the end there for him.
Yeah, so it's like, I like the fact, so maybe that's the thing. So that's why in the next one, we probably will see a bit more of a lighter Bruce Wayne. We'll see a bit more going into the public and saying, I'm going to endorse this to help the people of Gotham. Yeah. You know, like, I'm not going to let my parents...
That's all I really want is little character growth,
Yeah. I like the fact that maybe in the next one, like, he has changed. He says, I'm not going to let my parents' legacy go in vain. I almost did, and realizing what my parents almost did, but now it's like, you know what, I'm going to fix that. I'm not only going to redeem myself, I'm going to redeem my family's legacy. And that's why I thought with the bit with Alfred saying, is this going to be your family's legacy? And he says, I don't care. But now he realizes, I have to care, because realizing that my parents were kind of pieces of shit.
Yeah.
They did some shady shit, but now I'm going to repair that for them.
Yeah.
So it adds another layer to why he does what he does. It's not just for Gotham. It's not just so nobody ever has to go through what he goes through. It's for his family.
Okay.
It just adds so much more to that. And I'll even say that scene with him and Alfred in the hospital, I got a little choked. I did get a little choked by the end of it. One last little criticism I have.
Yeah, go for it.
Is the last scene. Because it just I get it kind of abruptly opens, which I think was more going for like the Joker aspect, because the Joker kind of opened abruptly with the credits. Mm-hmm. But the ending didn't feel
pieced together.
Well, it felt pieced together, but it didn't feel fanatic. It didn't feel like, okay, yeah, we're gonna go for another one, but here's the end of this story, of this chapter. Because the whole bit where he just rides off and sees Catwoman in the mirror and just looks back and credits roll, it felt very abrupt. And like, especially when you have that amazing score in that last bit, ba, ba, ba. You know what I do like about this movie is that it does bring back old cliches from the previous films. This is the first Batman movie we've seen in a long time where he jumps through a glass ceiling. You remember back in every other movie he jumped through a glass ceiling and it looked awesome? Like every time. 89, didn't do it in Returns, but he did it in Forever.
He did it Forever.
And Batman and Robin even. Like, he always did that. It was one of the coolest things. When he did that in this movie, I actually screamed. I was like, yeah! Like, because I haven't seen that since I was a kid, him doing that. So I loved that. But if there's one thing I was like, you could have done something, one last little nod to the old movies. It should have ended with that powerful score and him on the top of a roof looking up at the bat signal. You know, that classic...
Yes, the cliche, yep.
I felt like that would have been nice, to have that as like the last shot. Have that bike scene where he's like riding off and then Catwoman then fade through, pan up to a building and see him look up and try and like, you know, this thing. And then, yeah, I would have been okay with that because at that point, that closes the story even more because now he is the hero Gotham. When they call upon him, they need his help. Yeah. It's not just, oh, we're doing an investigation. Batman, we need your help. So I felt like they could have done that, and they didn't, and it was a
I'll even go a step further because, I mean, we saw the bat signal, we've seen him look up at it.
I love the bat signal, by the way.
I think it should have ended with him, like, I think it should have been a night scene, and I think he should have grappling hooked up to, like, you know, one of those things that hangs off the side of the building, and him just, like, perched up there looking at the city.
Yeah, so basically he jumps into the frame. Like he comes out, like jumps up and sees the thing. Okay, yeah. I was thinking you were gonna go for like the ending of Mask of the Phantasm where he grapples it and he swings off.
No. This is just like him looking down, like this is my city now.
Yeah, I just felt like they missed opportunity. In fact, what a great idea for cinema, like a great shot. What about a shot where like we see him from the back, the bat signal's lit. And then he's gonna jump down, but basically we see the bat signal and pan down to him looking down at the at the highest point of the city. He looks down at Gotham, and then he jumps down, then cut to black. Like you could have done something really cool and cinematic for that final shot, but instead it's just Catwoman leaves. Oh well.
Yeah. And like Shay said earlier, he says that what they should have done is they should have had her. I don't know, maybe not in this movie, but at least in the next one, have her know who Batman is, like find out, because she said in the movie that the one thing that she hates is rich, powerful white guys, and what would it be like if she found out that's exactly who she's talking to?
Yeah, actually, fuck, you bring that up. They're at a graveyard. How interesting would it be if, like, they pull a Mask of the Phantasm where Bruce or Batman basically kind of jumps a little bit he jumps at a gravestone. Selena Kyle sees that, turns to the gravestone and says Thomas Martha Wayne. Batman disappears. She's like, Bruce? Like, and then that would have been more like, oh shit, she knows who Batman is. Like,
yeah, but Batman can't be that fucking clumsy.
I know, but it's one of those things that's just, I think that would have been interesting. There's just some stuff that at the very end you could have maybe built up a little something there for the next one to add some extra intensity.
Yeah.
In terms of, and actually you bring that up, the whole rich white dude thing. People bitch about that. Of course, people like, I'm gonna call them out. People like the Quartering, who I can't fucking stand. And they all bring, oh, there it goes. They're doing a social justice. Okay, first of all, shut the fuck up. Second of all, unlike other movies, it's not the primary focus. It doesn't dwell on the story. It's a subtle little jab, and it's a subtle little jab at something that, let's be honest, is pure fucking fact. It's pure fucking fact. And it's just one line. It's not the rest of the movie. It's not Batman and her going to kick white rich guy ass. It's just one little jab. And you know what? It's subtle. It's quick to the point. That's it. You don't need, and the fact that it's even a simple, be grateful they didn't focus on that for the rest of the movie. Be thankful this wasn't a Captain Marvel or some bullshit like that,
Amen.
I'm sorry, it's just, people want to bitch about everything now.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I know.
Can we just shut up and watch a movie,
That's why I watch movies.
Yeah, so it's like, I enjoyed everything about it. If anything, I have nitpicks, but who doesn't have nitpicks?
Yeah.
But let's just be clear. Nitpicks aren't cinema sins. Nitpicks aren't criticism. They're little tiny things, little tweaks that you can fix in the next one easy peasy. It's not like I'm saying, Bruce Wayne being emo ruined the whole movie. Fix this in the next one and make it the plot point. Like, no. It's a little thing they can tweak in the next one. So, I think this is a solid fucking film, and actually, my mom is a huge Robert Pattinson fan. She wants to see it. We're gonna go see it Tuesday because I do want to see this again.
Yeah, so do I.
Now that I kind of got the first experience, I want because people have told me, oh, it's actually better the second time. I'm like, I'm gonna take your word for it. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, I saw it in both IMAX and 40X. So
I'll say this: my mom, I showed her Batman Returns for the first time over Christmas because I told her that because she showed me this as a kid. And she was so blinded by the dark adult shit in that movie because she thought, oh, it's Batman, my kids like it. And it's still Happy Meal toys, right? We watched it over Christmas. Now that she has a bit more of a open mind about how I am and what I watch, and she's just like sitting there like, did I let my son watch this when he was 5?
And look how great you turned out, Jack.
She had the look over her face like, oh my God, I'm a terrible mother. Right? But like, no, I think kudos to her. No, I watched a lot of R-rated movies as a kid. I watched Rob Roy as a kid. And that movie has like Liam Neeson cleave a guy in half. Right?
Yeah.
I saw Deep Blue Sea in theaters. I saw some pretty
A fucking shark ate me! Sorry.
Yeah, like, I saw some pretty dark shit as a kid. I saw Gladiator in theaters, and I was only like, I was 8, and I saw that. Because my mom liked to take me to big epic movies. So, I know she wants to see the Batman because of Robert, but I think half of my enjoyment the second time around is just gonna see her be like, because she hates scary movies. That's what I love about this too. This is a horror movie.
Yeah, it's got horror movie vibes.
It's definitely got like suspense thriller to it. I actually really like it.
Not only suspense, there were moments in this movie where I actually jumped. I was like, oh, Jesus. Like, I don't expect that in my Batman. That's one thing I'm like, I love. Because the Burton movies, I watched those as a kid. Tim Burton as a kid scared the shit out of me. Anything he made scared me, right? And it's something that later movies have really not been able to capture is the fear factor that we, like the criminals, are as much as scared as Batman as we are of his rogues gallery. And this movie did that. So I like the fact that this is going for the scare factor. So for my mom, she's not a horror movie person. So when she sees this, I'm just gonna watch her reaction when she jumped like, ah! I'm like,
yeah, I want to show this movie to my parents eventually, but I probably won't be able to take them to theaters because my dad's health, he can't go to a theater really. So luckily it's gonna be on HBO Max on April 19th. So I'll probably show it to my parents then when it drops on HBO Max. But yeah, I'd like to see it in theaters one last time for myself. You know, bring someone who didn't see it. Just but yeah, it's I also want to be able to pick up all the other stuff I may have missed or whatever, you know. Because there's a lot going on.
She's gonna be freaking out and be like, she only wanted this because she was expecting Sparkle Boy to be cute, but no, it's a big, dark, scary movie.
My mother and I took her to see The Lighthouse in theater, so, and I remember like during the movie, I'm like, hey mom, that's the dude that's gonna be the next Batman. She's like, oh, okay.
Well, I'll say this too. I watched. I remember seeing it in theaters. I didn't know what the hell I was in for, but I remember seeing The Lovely Bones, the Peter Jackson film, which I did like. I do like that movie. But I was not expecting that to be the feature-length motion picture of a child abduction safety video. That is one of the most disturbing movies I've ever seen. Like that was just freaked me out. This is just a big child abduction PSA movie.
Yeah.
What the fuck, Peter? You were making Lord of the Rings and then you bring us child abduction. Or Hobbit abduction in your case. Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
So it was like, I like the fact that I can go into a movie not expecting scares like that. So with the Batman, like, I was expecting a dark movie, but I was not expecting that level of like, holy shit, this is a horror movie. This is like Halloween. This is like freaking Michael Myers. Holy shit. Hey, better movie than Halloween Kills.
Absolutely. Jesus Christ. Booty sauce to the 10th degree.
I fucking hated that movie. I hated it. It was so... no, I said this in my review. The dialogue in that felt like they read it off a fucking Twitter post about cancel culture.
It reminded me of South Park, where like the mob in South Park, you know? Evil dies tonight! Evil dies tonight! It's like...
There's parts I liked, but there's parts I really hated. That door gun stealth shot thing was at that point the kills became...
I did like the beginning flashback though, where they show him in
yeah, that was great. Like
that
all
was
the
good.
stuff with Dr. Loomis, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of just some of the kills, at this point I was like, this is not a Halloween movie. This is an Itchy and Scratchy cartoon.
What was stupid about Halloween Kills is
the mental health shit I fucking hated.
They're chasing that short fat guy that killed himself, right? Like,
yeah,
dude,
they went all King Kong. They went all Frankenstein.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, they know Mike Myers. They saw Mike Myers on TV. The guy, the one that was a kid that was being babysat in the first movie. He knows what Mike Myers looks like. Why are they chasing over that short, fat man when they know that Mike Myers is like 7 feet tall? That was so fucking stupid. My God.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, one thing I didn't realize, because I knew Tommy Doyle was in it, but I didn't know he was played by, because I've been sort of noticing a lot more of Anthony Mike Hall's work. I didn't know who he was until after this movie, and I looked up his research, I'm like, holy shit, that's Jim from Edward Scissorhands? The fuck?
Yeah.
God, Jim, you really let yourself go.
Yeah, no,
Holy
it was.
Fuck, dude.
That whole movie was so fucking.
But I'll say this:
I'm going in with
Halloween
ends.
him.
Halloween ends. I'm going in with the lowest expectations.
Oh, same here. I'll say this: the end where they all gang up on him and Michael puts his mask on. I like that mostly in the music because it's like they took the Halloween theme.
I don't know why did they stop beating his ass. That was fucking stupid.
But what I like is that it's in the music because they combine the Halloween theme with what's that song by Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne, where it's like ba-na, ba-na, ba-na. I don't know the song.
That's not Black Sabbath. That's Ozzy solo. That's Crazy Train.
Yeah, they combined the Halloween theme with Crazy Train in that moment where he puts on the mask, because you could just easily put in the riff. It just sounds like, oh my God, can somebody do a remix of the Halloween theme with that, please? I want that. So yeah, the next one I am going in with really low, because I'll say this too about it. Because I was calling this. When I knew they were greenlit a sequel, I'm like, this is gonna suck. And I'm like, well, why? It's not gonna suck. It's got everybody involved. Okay, we have had this happen now 4 times. Halloween 4, good movie. Halloween 5, piece of shit.
Yep.
H2O, good movie, despite that being, looking back, it's a big Scream ripoff. Okay movie. Second one, piece of shit. Then we have Rob Zombie's Halloween. Good movie. Second one, piece of shit.
Yep.
Then we do this again. Good movie, piece of shit.
I agree.
How many times are you gonna... I was telling people who were excited for this, how many times are you gonna fall for this bullshit? You've been tricked 3 times.
Yeah.
3 times. You're really gonna fall for it a 4th one? And at that point, I gotta look at everybody who's like, I don't care, it's Halloween. I'm like, you fucking whore.
Yeah.
Okay. Fucking whore.
So we're getting close to 9:30 here. So Jack, I want one last. So I want you to give your final thoughts on the Batman. What would you rate it 1 through 10? And
10 out of 10.
Closing thoughts on the movie, and then I want to talk about the upcoming DC slate.
I'll just say it quickly.
Yep.
10 out of 10. It's better than The Dark Knight, but it's not as good as Batman Returns. It's right dab in the middle for me. It's like, It's really tough between this and the Burton movies. It's very tough. And I think a few more viewings may have to give me my final decision, but I think I'm going to still stick with Returns because Batman Returns did make it into my top 30 favorite movies, so it's going to be very hard to top that. So, because it's new, I'm still a little hyped about it, but it is 10 out of 10. Go fucking see it. Get the R-rated Blu-ray, whatever the fuck they do with it. Make the sequel. Make more of these. I want Robin. I want all that. I love the shit out of this movie. So, big surprise. Was not expecting it to... I was expecting it to be good, but I wasn't expecting a fucking masterpiece.
Very well said. Joe, go ahead if you want to go ahead and, just regurgitate your...
Oh, yeah. I gave it a 9 out of 10. I think The Dark Knight was a little bit better because of, Joker's, portrayal and everything. But this was up there, man. Yeah. I mean, Penguin stole the show. The Batmobile scene was awesome. Yeah, the one thing I didn't talk about on the last stream is that hallway scene was the best shot scene in the entire movie, I think. And it was the most practical effects. So
Penguin's Club. I'd actually go fucking hang out there. I'm not gonna lie. I'd go hang out there.
Iceberg Lounge, yeah.
Yeah, if got like dancers and booze and shit, fuck yeah, I'll go. I always say that. I do always like in some of these movies lately where Batman just breaks into a fucking nightclub and it's like a raid. Yeah. Like in The Dark Knight, I kind of love that scene where he confronts Eric Roberts in the nightclub. It's all strobe lighty and shit. I like that they did that here. I'm like, oh, dude, can I just get a scene in a Batman movie where he goes into like a strip club?
Yeah.
And to confront him. You think that would be, that would be the most likely place Gotham mobsters would hang out.
Yeah, true.
So I guess, we can't do that because, who cares? You're R-rated now. You can go there.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And I did say this in the last stream too. There is one way they could have ruined the movie, and that is if at the end, after fading to black, all you heard was, "A freeze is coming."
That'd be funny though. I give it 9 out of 10 because, like I said, the bomb scene really took me out, and I didn't care for emo Bruce Wayne. But other than that, it's the best shot Batman movie. I don't think it's better than The Dark Knight. I don't think it's better than '89. I don't think it's better than Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, because that movie struck a nerve. But it's up there for me. It's really, like I said, 9 out of 10. I rarely don't give 9 out of 10s much. It's not a 10 out of 10 for the reasons I just said, but it's really, really well done, and I look forward to what they bring next. But I'm really most excited about the Penguin spin-off series. I really like, because Penguin's my favorite part of that movie.
That and the Arkham. The Arkham.
And I've always liked Matt Reeves since Cloverfield. I love Cloverfield.
Cloverfield's a fun. No, I heard.
Dawn of the Apes.
I want to say with Godzilla vs. Kong, they announced a sequel that was going to be to that. Like, what's going on with that?
The less, the better.
I have a good title. I have a good title. Cloverfield B-roll.
I don't want to see them do another I know they said they are doing another Cloverfield. I like Cloverfield the way it is.
But it'd be cool if they do sequels, that we see it from a different perspective.
And
here's the best part: you don't number them. You don't like number them. You alphabetize them. So instead of so the first one's A camera, this one's B camera.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, we'll see what they do.
ABC instead of doing 1, 2, 3, it's ABC.
Yeah.
And again, I love what he did with Dawn of the Apes, and I did not like War. War of the Planet of the Apes wasn't good.
I haven't seen War yet.
It's worth watching, but it's nowhere near as good as Dawn. But
I heard it's called Planet of the Schindler's List.
Basically, there is no war in the fucking movie. It's basically Caesar in jail, basically.
All I wanted from that, and I heard it wasn't in the movie, I wanted like the last shot to be like the Statue of Liberty on the sand, and you just hear and the echo before it closes credits. You maniacs!
But Matt Reeves has proven that, you know, he can take an IP and make it great. So.
Oh yeah.
Now, okay, so it's after 9:30. So here I want to talk about something and because it's still Batman related. So I sent you the article, Jack, today. All the DC films
been all over my feeds.
The DC films have been shuffled. Okay, there's a lot to unplug here. I'm just gonna say this. I'm very disappointed because before, like Joe, when we saw the fan premiere, they played that DC promo in 2022. All these movies coming out.
Yeah.
So Black Adam is the movie I'm most excited for. Like Black Adam, like I've always loved that character. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is great. This is the role that he was born to play. I cannot wait for this fucking movie. Luckily, it's only going to be postponed to October, so it's still happening this year. I think the most interesting move. Okay, Black Adam only moved a couple months. Aquaman only moved a couple months. The Flash moved 7 months past all the DC movies. So I got there's 3 theories here I have. One,
I got a few too. I want to bring that up.
Okay, I'll go real quick, then you can go. So I got 3 theories on the whole Flash being postponed. One, multiple Batmen. I think you don't want to confuse the main audience. Well, wait a second, we just saw Pattinson. Why is Affleck back? Why is Michael Keaton back? I don't think they want to confuse the stupid people in the public. 2, the potential timeline reset, which is why I think they pushed it so far back, so we can still see Shazam, which is coming out in December, by the way, now in place of Aquaman, 2 months after Black Adam, which makes sense because those two are connected. And then the other thing too is the Discovery merger. So yeah, I think all those play a factor with the Flash being postponed all the way to June. Am I let down? Yes, but from a business perspective, I can see why, because you know you got Keaton coming back, you got Affleck coming back, you got more Justice League stars in the movie, and they want this to be a summer blockbuster instead of having it around Thanksgiving. And Shazam is the most family-friendly DC movie. To release it on Christmas is a good decision. I'm happy that we're getting Black Adam and Shazam 2 back to back. That's all. So, Jack, go ahead. What are your thoughts on all the DC shuffle?
So, out of all of them, remember, I don't give really a shit about any of the other stuff outside of The Flash, and the reason for it is not even for The Flash. For me, this is Batman 3. This is Tim Burton's Batman 3. I want to see Keaton back. I've been wanting this for years, and I like where this is the idea of this. Ben Affleck wants out, pass him the torch to Keaton, get the frickin' I've seen the set photos, the Batcave looks great, it's the 89 Batcave, the Batmobile's back, thank you. I've seen leaked images of the suit, it looks phenomenal. And I like the fact that even in that trailer, they're teasing the Danny Elfman theme. I'm like, this shit better be in the movie. Unlike Justice League, the Sweden cut, I want to hear the I want to see a new rendition, a powerful orchestral version of the Danny Elfman theme. I want this back. So, the thing is with the Flash movie is that I never really saw a release date for that. It was kind of up in the air for me. I never heard any release date of when it was coming out.
It was November.
Yeah, that's the thing. I heard very little things about the release date. All I knew was it's just been a bit of a hassle to produce. I am very upset it got delayed, and the main reason, because this is coming up on 30 years since Michael Keaton was in the costume.
Oh yeah, fun fact. Ready for this one, guys? Ready for your minds to be blown?
They retconned Batman Forever and Batman and Robin.
No, nothing to do with that. The Flash is being moved to June 23rd, 2023. That's the exact same date as Batman 89, June 23rd. Batman 89 came out June 23rd, and now The Flash is coming out June 23rd.
See, I think that's interesting, but my biggest issue is, again, not necessarily the date, but the year. Had it come out this year, it would have been the perfect, 30 years later, Michael, good to see you back, man. But now it's 31. I'm like, that's really dumb. I'm not gonna lie, it's just 31, it just doesn't ring it. I think this would have been a great time to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Keaton as Batman.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think maybe they don't want to confuse people with all these you even got Keanu Reeves is coming out as Batman.
So that's why I think they delayed it, because honestly, what we have here is, I think there are some very smart people in Warner Brothers, groups that make decisions in the business. Because I think there was a thing of, if this Batman movie with Pattinson doesn't work, we've got some backup plans. And I was even thinking, maybe they're thinking, this is probably not gonna work. We don't know. We don't know maybe there's some people, we don't know what we're doing, we don't know what's going on. And I think and they were probably thinking, we can have multiple Batman, and then people can pick and choose, and then, if people don't like one, we can replace them with another. So we have a bunch of safety nets.
Yeah. So
with the Batman being a smash hit, a surprising smash hit, critically, financially, Warner Brothers, I think, did not see this coming, was not expecting this, and realized how big this was going to be, and they're like, okay, change of plans. Let's whore the fuck out of this movie. Let's profit on it as much as we can. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they announced in a couple of days we're going to delay the HBO Max release because we want to keep it in theaters and make as much money as possible.
Well, no, that's already set in stone. The 45 day
Well, they're probably now thinking, let's extend it in theaters. Let's keep it in theaters. Let's,
Another thing that no one's talking about, Batgirl was supposed to come out in December, and that has Michael Keaton in it. So I'm sure the Batgirl HBO Max movie is probably gonna get postponed too, because
that's the thing. It's probably the same day. Probably gonna be delayed by a whole year.
Yeah, because here's just my theory. I'm just throwing my theory. I already talked to Mark about this. I don't know if we talked about this on air, but me and Mark were talking about this off air, I think. So my theory is, what's gonna happen in the Flash? Again, I have no proof. I'm just speculating here. Ben Affleck's Batman's gonna die. By the way, he's my favorite Batman, but he's gonna die.
Maybe not die, but just fade out of existence.
Something's gonna happen to him, and Barry's gonna beg Michael Keaton to leave his Burtonverse to come to replace Ben Affleck's Batman because there's still trouble in Gotham and so on and so forth, and he's needed. Whereas in Tim Burton's Gotham, like his job is done, Gotham saved. So I think Barry's gonna beg Michael Keaton's Bruce to replace Ben after Ben dies or something. That's just my theory. And hang on, and that's why you see the set photos of Michael Keaton's Batman with J.K. Simmons's Commissioner Gordon. So that's my theory, is that Barry begs Keaton to come to replace Affleck in the DCEU.
Yeah, because that's the thing too, is that I think one thing I'm really gonna like about The Flash is that there is gonna be a little bit of nostalgia baiting, but it's gonna be handled well. Because really think about this, like with Keaton, I'm guaranteed this takes place again 30 years after Batman Returns.
Yeah.
He's done, and we've had a whole set of 30 years of not knowing what happened to him.
Yeah.
Maybe Robin showed up. Maybe I think he got together with Selena Kyle. That was confirmed.
Yeah, because if you watch Crisis on Infinite Earths, there was a newspaper article showing that.
And that also means the potential of something like Damian Wayne, right, showing up. Like, shit like that. So, and also, what's one scene that's going to really make people cry? You're going to see him reflect over Alfred, Michael Goff.
Yeah.
How hard is that going to be to hit for people? Like, oh, he was a good Alfred. Maybe, wow, he actually did die of McGregor syndrome after all, right?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. That's like I said, that's just my theory, and I think the whole thing is like, if there's gonna be some kind of timeline reset, they should let Black Adam, Shazam, Aquaman, those movies play out first, then do Flash.
That's the thing. So yeah, I think the idea is like, I like the idea. I like that concept where it's like, Gotham saved. In fact, how cool would it be as if in the Burtonverse we see an older Robin or an older Nightwing, and they tell Bruce, "We'll handle things, man. Don't worry. You go do your thing. We got this."
That'd be cool. Yeah. I still think there's more to Flash that we don't know. For example,
or even then, you could have Damian Wayne be older, and he's gonna take up Keaton's place as Batman in that timeline.
I think there's still more that we don't know. Like, obviously, it was leaked. It was already leaked that Wonder Woman's in the movie. It was already leaked that Momoa's Aquaman's in the movie. That shit was leaked. Apparently, what's nuts? Michael Shannon's Zod is also in Flash. So yeah, I think there's a lot. I think there's gonna be a lot of cameos. This is gonna be like, it's
gonna be interesting to see what they do with it. I'm just going in because, like, again, I'm just going in for Keaton because that's all I care about.
This is the movie that's gonna basically replace Keaton with that, or replace Affleck with Keaton. That's the whole purpose of this.
And I think the reason for it is because they want to continue with the DCEU, but they're saying to themselves, we can't do the Justice League without Batman. We just can't. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's the idea that Affleck wanted out, and Warner Brothers is saying, well, we can't do this without Batman.
And they can't just replace Affleck, so why don't we just replace him with a different Batman altogether?
And look, that actually gives opportunities, because if the Flash messes up the timeline, that also means you can do things like you can redo the Joker. You can make the Joker. Yeah. That's not what we're gonna get. I've already seen fan art of that shit. But here's the thing I would say, and this would be actually kind of interesting to do, because you have all of this. You're replacing Batman. Okay, well, here's the biggest question: what the fuck is going on with Superman?
Well, Supergirl is in Flash.
Like, here's the thing. I think Henry Cavill's a great Superman. I think he wants to still play that part. He was just in a set of terrible written movies.
I disagree, but go ahead.
I think, well, this is the thing. If you're doing this multiverse time skip, this would be a very ballsy thing to do, but you know what? I could kind of see it working actually not bad. I would, if you're going to have Henry Cavill come back or whoever's next in line to be Superman, I would love to see a scene. If Ben Affleck is passing the torch back to Keaton, you do a role reversal where in the whole time multiverse jump, everybody's like, it's this big problem and we got to try to get it where we're in a consistent timeline because there's too much going on. Big white flash of light. Everybody looks up to the heavens. They think, and Superman's coming down. They obviously think, oh, it's Henry Cavill. It's Christopher Reeve. And they basically pull a Ghostbusters Afterlife. A Ghostbusters Afterlife. They do a CG Christopher Reeve. He doesn't say a thing. a thing. You play the Planet Krypton theme by John Williams, you know, that big 2001-esque music.
Yes.
And he just hands the keys over to the next Superman, and he takes off. And like basically anything that DC doesn't want anymore, Ben Affleck, any other characters, fuck, you could even have Ryan Reynolds there as Green Lantern take off and that sort of, because I think the idea is there's this whole, I don't think Ben Affleck's gonna get shot or die. I think it's more just he's going to transition, sort of like Frodo in the Grey Havens, to the light of non-existence or something.
Well, I guess Ben Affleck came out and said that he likes how his character ends. He said he loves it, and he says he's happy that.
So it's something where, like, we see Reeve Superman flies off into the light. Get Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern, flies off into the light. That no longer exists. So now you can do a Green Lantern movie, right? Yeah. Ben Affleck's the last one to go, and he looks at Barry and Keaton and says, "You guys take care of yourself," right? Takes off. Now another thing, if we're again, you have Keaton as Batman. J.K. said, "What's going on with Alfred?" Like, who's going to be Alfred in this timeline now? Is it just still going to be Jeremy Irons? Is it still?
I'm fine with Jeremy Irons. See Jeremy Irons and Michael Keaton work together would be badass.
Yeah, so I think that's what might happen. It's not going to be this big dark murder thing. I think it's just going to be a passing of the torch, where these older versions or newer versions that people don't like or just don't exist anymore are just going to take off and never come back. In fact, that would be great as a little respect. I mean, obviously you have Christopher Reeve. Like as the CGI, but just in the background, you don't even need to see it much, but a little bit of hint that Adam West is going there too. Like a little hint of Adam West, because Burt Ward's still around, but Adam West, he's there too with Christopher Reeve and Ryan Reynolds and all those first. That's what I think would be nice to just see all these characters. It's sort of a final closure because we know the Warner Brothers pretty much saying, guys, we know we can't do some of these guys because some of these actors are dead, so we're just going to say they're there. They're just saying a final goodbye to you guys.
And one more thing. I think this would be a great picture of this moment is after, Michael Keaton says, okay, I'll be Batman and all that, and he stays in that universe, he comes back into frame with the Batman Beyond suit.
Sayonara.
That would be awesome, because he's an older Batman.
No, I want him to keep this suit. This is iconic for him. If anything, it should end where he maybe goes to Lex Luthor, or no, this is cool because it could be Jesse Eisenberg. This would be the funny part. It is Jesse Eisenberg. He breaks in, and Eisenberg realizes this is a totally different person. Like, this isn't Bruce Wayne. And he looks at him, and maybe obviously Keaton picks him up. It's like, and Jesse Eisenberg's like, "How are you?" And the last shot is him going, "I'm Batman." Just that just as a little callback, but basically it just leaves Eisenberg perplexed. Like, what? Right? So it would be cool just to have that where he tells that little twerp to fuck off. He's just like, "I'm Batman." Because look, he has to say that. He's contractually obligated. Keaton has to go on camera and do that line. He has to.
Yeah, and if you're gonna do all this crossover stuff too, you could be like, well, then who's that? And it's Gene Hackman.
Okay, that would be actually hilarious if Gene Hackman came back. No, they bite the bullet, they get Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
And it's like, "Oh, you're Lex Luthor?" "No, I'm just Kevin Spacey. I just escaped from my universe to the DC world." Right? Or, oh no, it'd be funny, I would doubt they would do this, and I would hate them for it, but if the post-credit scene, we see a Joker and it's a CGI Jack Nicholson, I'd be like, fuck off. No, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Danny DeVito, maybe. Danny DeVito has said he wants to be the Penguin again. If you get Danny DeVito, I'll be okay with that.
Jay, your mic again.
His mic's gone again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Danny DeVito, if you get Danny DeVito and Michelle Pfeiffer back, I'm okay. Fuck, get Jim Carrey in there. That's the thing, we're dealing, because apparently there was a rumor that, if they couldn't get Keaton, they could go to Christian Bale and get that part in.
Yeah.
Which would have been interesting. But I think it would be cool to, go to the Schumacher-verse. That's one thing I would love to see. And, obviously you can't get Val Kilmer back, but maybe get George Clooney in, and you just have him, he's not in the costume, he's just Bruce Wayne, but it's well, who's Batman? And it's Chris O'Donnell taking over as Batman. I don't know, just do something with that. Schumacher deserves a bit more respect.
We'll find out next year. Unfortunately, this won't be this year. But yeah, it's a crazy shuffle. I'm a little let down, but at least Black Adam's still happening, and I'm glad Shazam got pushed forward. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, that's all I really got. So Jack, before we go, anything you want to plug in or any message to the fans?
Well, I'll just say to the fans, for those wondering why we aren't having a normal, consistent schedule, is because I've been taking a lot of time off, especially now that we're kind of getting out of COVID, out of the pandemic, and I'm really focusing on the big projects again. I really want to focus on those. But I'm also reevaluating a lot of things going on in my personal life. I've been, actually, I'll say this, I'm volunteering on a couple of productions happening, big productions happening in Toronto. I'm actually helping out with a opera show based on Conan the Barbarian, so I'm just doing some volunteer work there. So if you don't see videos from me, it's just because I'm occupying my time. I'm doing a lot of reevaluations. I'm still getting episodes and videos out, but I just needed some time, I think especially after what's going on in Ukraine, to really take some time to reflect and figure out, now that we're out of the pandemic, now we're kind of getting back to more socialization. Now that I'm in the city, I've been waiting for this moment, but I'm not fully prepared. So I am taking some time to myself. However, I should say some good news to the fans is that I've got 4 episodes I am currently writing and producing right now. You're going to hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm working my ass off on my time. 2 new King Kong reviews are coming. In fact, count that 3. You've got 2 in March and 1 in April. Can't say what they are, but I will hopefully, when I get the first 2 episodes in the can, have a trailer out. But then I'm also tinkering with a movie for April, and another review in April, for a movie based on a director I've been wanting to talk about, but this is more so because there's a potential for a Patreon-sponsored episode. My first one. For like a full scripted review, but I've got 4 episodes in the works, a bunch more coming later on. We just want to see, I think honestly for a lot of us, winter has been a bitch. Winter has been a utter shit show, a long one and a cold one, mind you. But as the spring and warm starts to come in, I think we're going to see a lot more of a brighter future. This is just for me. I think honestly March, it's going to be a very long March. But it's the last of this. We are the men of Middle Earth at the Black Gates of Mordor. Frodo's about to drop the ring. We are on the last stage of this, and after March, I think we're gonna be okay. So we're just not mentally prepared, but we are getting there, and I'm working hard, and I want to get back onto YouTube. I just need some time to myself to have a bit of a life. So that's on my plate, but look forward, there is stuff coming, and I do apologize to my fans that I haven't been able to put out as many videos as I should be. So
we did have a question for you in here. Somebody was asking what was going on with your Twitter site.
So I should make this perfectly clear that for those who don't know, a couple of weeks ago I did shut down my Twitter. And to be upfront and short and simple, it was because of the situation in Ukraine, because of what's going on in the world, and knowing how much my feed was going to be flooded with that for my own mental health, my own sake, I shut it down. It shut down. I may come back when things calm down, but right now it's gone. And that's the thing. I went the extra step and just deactivated the whole thing. So if I do come back, it's going to be a brand new account. But I just needed to take a big step back because I knew that was gonna really fuck my head up, and that is why I shut it down. I do apologize that I did take off, but that is the honest truth. I knew I couldn't handle it, so I knew to take that first big weight off my shoulder. In fact, you know what's really funny? I can tell the story. I am so fed up with mainstream 24-hour news and all that shit. I've been trying to escape it, get away from it, to the point I took my cable box. And I'm not kidding, I chucked it out the window. I didn't want to take it back. I didn't want my money back. That was my stab at the cable companies. I said, fuck you, bye. I yeeted that out the window. The only thing I kept was the AC adapter because it charges my phone faster. So thank you, cable. You give me shit news. I tossed you out for a reason, but I'm keeping the cable. But you can at least power my phone faster.
Yes. Well, Jack,
dab.
we definitely appreciate you coming on. And just so you know, NerdCage Nation, please subscribe to BigJackFilms. Please check out all his content, including his Batman opening night. And
one more little plug-in.
Yes,
one more little plug-in before I take off. I hate to say this.
Yeah.
I should say that we just hit a bit of a milestone of subscribers on my channel. We hit over 18,000.
Congrats.
Nice.
I won't spoil anything, but 18 is my lucky number. And to celebrate, we might be doing an interview down the line. I can't say who, the exact name. I'm contractually obligated not to say anything. But needless to say, I'm really looking forward to having this guest on my channel. It's going to be a fantastic interview. You guys are going to like what we have planned. If you're guessing in the comments, don't even bother. But I'm kind of excited. This has been in the works for a while. So
well, we look forward to it, Jack. Like I said, I love your material. Like I actually go back. I watch. I mean, I'm still catching up on all your content because you've been around for so long. But I'm just saying, I enjoy your stuff. Recently, I watched your Notebook review. Gave me a good laugh.
That was a page. My sister sent me that for Patreon because she wanted me to watch it. I ended up liking it. I hated that fucking ending. It's
laughed.
Here's a happy movie. Now we're gonna kick you in the balls in the last 5 minutes. But anyway, and also I should say with the interview format we're doing now, because we used to do it where it's just the audio, but we actually found a way where we can do it sort of like NerdCage, where it is going to be more of a Skype call interview. So that's going to be in the works. We're gonna try to get more interviews in with a couple of people.
But
I should also say another plugin. I know I keep forgetting these plugins because I don't have time to make videos about
Jack,
it.
You're our guest. Plug away, dude. Plug whatever you want to plug.
Next weekend. What is next weekend? March 17th or 18th to the 20th?
Yeah.
I should let my fans know March 18th to the 20th, I will be attending Toronto Comic-Con. I will be there mostly filming stuff, mostly just there to attend, but if you want to say hi to us, you can. That's March 18th to the 20th at the Metro Toronto Convention Center. It will be at the South Building. Tickets, go check them out. And I also will say, unfortunately, I have a bit of bad news on this. I was planning to come to G-Fest this year, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to cancel that because it's on the same weekend of a rearranged convention that I always love going to. I will be back for Anime North the same weekend as G-Fest. When is that weekend, Jay?
The 11th.
So, yeah, I will, July 11th something. I will be at Anime North that July weekend. And that is at the Toronto Congress Center, right near the airport. It is next to G-Fest, my favorite convention of all time. Think Woodstock, like hippie Woodstock, outside. But if George Lucas digitally replaced all the hippies with anime people, it is a freaking blast. If you want to come over to Canada, please come join us for Anime North. It is spectacular. It's an outdoor convention, so you don't even have to get tickets. If you want to, you can do some inside stuff. But I'm going to be there. It's a party and a half. I've been waiting 2 years for this to come back. This is my safe haven. This is going to be my big party night. All that shit. Fuck. I might hold my delayed birthday party there. Why not? So those are the two big conventions I will be attending. So Toronto Comic-Con, March 17th or March 19th or 18th to the 20th, March 18th to the 20th, Toronto Comic-Con, and Anime North in July. I'll do an ad at some point, but right now, just want to plug all that in.
It's the 16th, the weekend of the 16th of July. That's G.
Yeah.
So.
And that's all I got, guys. I'm a whore.
No. You can whore all you want, Jack, because we appreciate you taking off your time off your busy schedule to be here with us on NerdCage Live. You're an awesome content creator, and we're a small channel. We appreciate you coming on here. You're a good friend, and we love having you on.
If there's one thing I give advice to people, and it's something I do hold true to myself, especially during this pandemic, during these times, is that even though nowadays it's very hard to predict things, and a lot of unforeseen stuff happens where you're living in such uncertainty. But make sure when you can make promises, you keep them, guys. Don't be like, oh, I can't because of this and that. Really try for the people you care about and your friends. Make those promises. Don't hold back. Because it goes a long way. It does go a long way when you can do that.
Yeah.
Very well.
There's big PSA of the day.
Yeah.
And as for me and Jay,
Go ahead, Joe.
Night,
Tell him about
8 p.m.
Friday. Tell him about Friday.
Yes, tomorrow night at 8 p.m. EST, we will be playing Twisted Metal Black on Twitch. And then, Jay, I'll let you take Saturday. That's your favorite part of the week this week.
Yes. So listen, we're doing 5 live streams this week, obviously between Twitch and YouTube, and I'm very excited to say that this coming Saturday is the Mortal Kombat Conquest episodes 8 through 15 watch party with our good friends Toasty from Komidogu and Mad Mike Jones from Twitch. We're so excited to have these guys back on. We did the first 7 episodes last month, and we had absolute fucking blast. Probably one of the most fun watch parties I've ever done personally. And we're running it back, but this time we're doing episodes 8 through 15, which is like the peak of the series. For those who are not familiar with Mortal Kombat Conquest, that was the prequel TV show that was on that's canon to the Mortal Kombat movies. It aired back in 1998. It ran for 1 season. Well, guess what? Well, we're watching off my DVDs, but everybody has access to it because guess what? It's streaming on HBO Max. So if you want to like catch up on those first 7 episodes, do that now, and then watch episodes 8 through 15 with us. But yeah, we're gonna be doing that 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time this coming Saturday. We're gonna be watching 8 episodes starting at 6 o'clock, and we'll take a 5-minute break between episodes. But that's the plan. We had a blast the first time. We're running it back, and we're gonna do episodes 8 through 15, and we're gonna finish the rest of the series in April. And then I guess while we're at it, Tuesday we're going to be resuming our campaign in Gears of War 5.
Yes.
We
had the last on Tuesday. Back out.
Yes. And I guess I can plug in next Thursday's show. I'm very excited. If you're subscribed to NerdCage Live, you should see it in there already. But next Thursday, the Pretty Guardian is going to be our guest, and we're going to hang out, talk with her, talk about games, movies, and everything. Mainly games, because she's a gaming channel. So that should be a lot of fun. You know,
I'm gonna guess Pretty Guardian is a Sailor Moon fan.
I would make that assumption. Yeah. But
yeah.
It's just we're gonna have a female guest, which is something we don't have on NerdCage that often. So we're gonna get a little shot of estrogen into the channel. I'm really looking forward to having her on because I've been a fan of her for a minute. So I'm so glad that she agreed to come on. But yeah, she's gonna be coming on Thursday next week at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And I'll announce.
I'll say this with the news of the recent news of like the Ninja Turtles games getting remastered. When are we gonna do a big Ninja Turtles show?
Hey, I was just gonna say. I guess since you brought that up, I'm hoping that those Ninja Turtles games have online co-op. Because,
that would be cool. That'd be neat. Yeah,
I want to play some Ninja Turtles on Twitch. I'm sure Joe, I speak for Joe when I say this, we will definitely play it.
I'll say this, Jay. If you do a Ninja Turtles show, it's like talking about the movies or watching the movies or, or the games or whatever. One thing you gotta do, it has to be a Ninja Turtles pizza party where everybody has to order, like even the people guests on the show, they have to order pizza.
Yeah, you know what I'd love to do too, since you brought up Ninja Turtles, I would love to have Matthew Farden and Anthony Marquez come back on. Instead of talking about Mortal Kombat, talk about everything that happened on the Turtles movie, because they were in the Turtles movie.
Oh shit, yeah. Because that's the thing, like I'm a very casual Ninja Turtles fan. The 80s cartoon was past my time. I did like 2 movies. I've never seen Ninja Turtles 3. Although I've heard very...
Skip. Don't bother.
It's awesome.
Don't bother.
I like TMNT. I have not seen the Bay
I love it. It's a guilty pleasure.
I have not seen the Bay movies, but I do like the first 2 Turtles. I read some of the comics. I'm a very casual Ninja Turtles guy, so...
But the games are so fun.
I kind of like the toys because my cousin had them as a kid, and they used to toss them in the pool and shit, so I'm kind of a Ninja Turtles fan, so... Fuck it, I'll jump on that. I'm not. So again, if you guys are all turtles, I'm like Casey Jones. I'm like on the outside. I'm not really that big into it.
Well, yeah. If you I plan on getting the Turtles collection on Switch. So if you get it on the Switch, if you get a Switch down the road.
Well, I don't have a Switch. I mean, I have Turtles. I have Turtles. for Nintendo, so I'm good.
Well, I'm just saying, Jack. If you get a Switch and you get the Turtles collection, man. join us. We'll do.
Well,
we'll do a
I mean,
live stream.
I'll jump on, but I'll probably be just ordering the pizzas. I'm like, cowabunga, dude. I'll say this, I did try some of the stuff on Michelangelo's pizza taste test that James and them did. To be honest, the marshmallow and pepperoni actually works. Like, it's actually good. I would recommend that. Like, try that one, and also try it with the pickles. That shit's good.
Absolutely. I love pizza, so it works.
Turtle power, dude.
So, all right. Well, that being said, again, Jack, thanks so much. This was hella fun talking Batman, talking DC films, and again, we'll see everybody on Twitch tomorrow, and we'll see you guys on YouTube on Saturday for the Mortal Kombat Conquest watch party. Enjoy life. Stay safe. Do your push-ups. Eat your vegetables.
Holy NerdCage!
And good night.
Good night.
NerdCage Live and gaming are a perfect match.
Shoot the J, Joe.
Okay.
Shoot it!
All right.
Over on NerdCage Live on Twitch, Jay and Joe go live.
Call me Bazooka Joe.
It's all about you.
Kaboom!
Playing both old school and new school games every Tuesday night. Ooh, what a sight!
Jay, stop looking at her face and run.
But she's so beautiful.
So be sure to follow NerdCage Live on Twitch.
Run for your life, Joe. Run for your life, Joe.
Running.
Run faster. Oh no, Joe. The galaxy's doomed because of you.
To scratch your gaming itch.
Oh, nice kick, Joe.
Thank you.
About you.
Yo, that's diabolical.
About humanity.
Wait. Yo!
That's twitch.tv/NerdCageLive. Ooh, trying to get out of the NerdCage, are ya? Well, before you go, hit that subscribe button. And if you're really intrigued, ring that bell. Thank you for dropping by. Until next time, tell everyone you know about NerdCage Live!